Okay, in the last session, we have done the basic setups and tested if journal is able to post, and we did it, and we are able to post the journal. So now we start with the accounts payable module. GL we come at the end to finish the rest of the topics in the general ledger. So today we start with the accounts payable module. Okay. Okay. Accounts payable module will be used for booking, supplier creation, booking of supplier invoice, and processing. Okay. This, processing of customer refund, payments to supplier, and reporting. Okay. So these are the few basic things, and employee expenses also will come. Okay. I expenses. Okay. So we have got the basic functions, and based on the customer's requirement and other things, you can change, sorry, very well change the setups and proceed for the things. So before we move on to this, our first priority is to create responsibilities. Second, update profile option. Third, payable and financial options setup. Fourth, processing supplier voice. Fifth, bank and bank account setup. Sixth, processing payments. Seven, supplier activities. Supplier. Okay, we'll go through this. The first part, we create the responsibility. So you need to go to the system. System administrator, security, responsibility, define. So we will define the payables responsibility. AP super user IT India payables AP super user IT India. Okay. Then all reports. Enter payables. The menu. AP navigate. AP navigate GUI 12. Okay. All reports. All reports. Payables. Okay, this responsibility you created, press save. So once this responsibility is created, now what I will do, I will assign this to my user ID. Go to the securities, users, define, press F11, search your user, press Control F11. Add a new line, give a responsibility, assignment, saved. This responsibility is now created and assigned to the user. Now next part is create responsibility and assign it to user. Done. Update of profile option. Update of profile option. In the system administrator profile system. Okay. Select the responsibility here. Now we had the HR business group we created earlier. HR business group, IT corporations, India. Okay. Save it. Then again go HR security profile. You can find HR security profile. IT corporations, India. Okay. Reason for assigning this responsibility with the profile options of this, because it should not be deriving all the profile of securities of Vision Corporation. So if I do not assign this responsibility at this level, all the details related to Vision Corporation will be visible. And that's the reason we are assigning at each and every responsibility our own profile options. Now, there is some more profile options to be assigned because these all are the subledger modules. This subledger works based on the operating unit in our organization structure. We created organization structure with the we created business group, legal entity, ledger, operating unit, and inventory organization. So these all are the things we created. Operating unit is kind of a system entity. It is not in the real world. It is a kind of system entity to manage the subledger data and transfer the subledger data to the general ledger. Okay, your operating unit is attached to your ledger and legal entity. Okay, so what happens, whatever you do processing for the operating unit, it goes and sit in the ledger for that legal entity. Legal entity is being assigned with the balancing segment value on our chart of account. This one, balancing segment value. So this is also linked to the legal entity. Operating unit will process data using this company balancing segment and process the accounting entries in the ledger. And at the end, it will give the final trial balance for that legal entity. A legal entity in the system can be assigned with a multiple balancing segment. This depends on the case-to-case basis. It is not a straightforward thing. Suppose there is one legal entity, but you have operations throughout the India, and you want trial balance to be generated for each unit in India. Let's say, if I give an example, Infosys Limited is the company. Okay, it has establishment all over the India, in Pune, Bangalore, Hyderabad, Chennai, Delhi, Jaipur, all these cities. So the Infosys Limited wants to have a trial balance by each unit in every state. Okay, so that's the reason they will assign multiple balancing segment values for each unit in each state to get the data. And if you have this many units, you will have that much operating units. Why? Because operating units work, the thing is to manage the data for each unit separately. It should not be mixed. But there is a possibility that if you assign operating unit profile and the security profile, it is very well possible that you can manage multiple operating units in a single responsibility. This is called multi-operating access control. So right now, this operating unit must be assigned to the payables responsibility. Otherwise, you will not be able to process the setups as well as your transactions. If you are not able to process the setups, it will not allow you to do anything. So first thing is operating unit assignment to our responsibility. So click on search again. Here, MO operating unit. Here you see operating unit. IT Private Limited OU. This is what we created for the operating unit. Okay. If you have a security profile designed, MO security profile is there, which is same as the HR security profile. And if you define your security profile like it will access the business, complete business group. With that business group, whatever legal entity operating unit is there, you can access very well all the security profiles. If you assign the operating unit over here, you will have access to this proper operating unit only. But if you have access to all the operating units, then default operating units you can define, and later you can change it as per your requirement. Okay, so this setup I have done. So right now we are all set to start with the profile options. So now we are done with the this is done. Update of profile option done. Now payables and financial option setups. Now we'll go to our setups. AP super user IT India setups. Okay, so we have, as I explained you, responsibility is the combination of the menus, sub menus, and function. So all these are available over here. So you can very well process supplier invoices, payments, accounting, supplier creation, employee related expenses, credit card expenses, and we have the setup access, which will allow us to configure our system accordingly. Workflow is to process your invoices using approval workflow. If the invoice is entered, it will go to the approval of a supervisor and everything. Then others, we have reports and this payable dashboard is the new thing, because from 12.2 onwards, the version 12.2 onwards, Oracle is coming up the some of the specialized feature on the EBS platform, which is more like moving to the fusion version of the our Oracle system. So it is bringing some of the features which can be developed on the EBS, because there is a lot of companies who are still using the EBS, and they are still comfortable with the EBS before moving to the cloud. So if they want, they are if they are in older version of EBS 12.1.3, they can very well apply the patches and upgrade it to 12.2. And in right now in the market, it is 12.2.11 is available. And this 12.2 version is or will be functional till 2030, but still there is some announcement may come that Oracle is don't want to continue, because right now it is the time to move everything to the cloud. Your applications, your systems, your interface, everything is now right now moving to the cloud. So it is up to Oracle to decide if they want to continue with this. Even you can move this Oracle EBS to the cloud. There is a separate thing. So right now we start with our setups. We go to the setup. In the setup, our first thing is to set up options. In the options, we have financial options, payable system setup, payables options. So first we will go to financial options. In the financial options, if you see, operating unit is already what we have given at the profile option level. Now whatever we will do here, it is kind of setting of defaults. Okay, whatever account and all details I will give here, this all will default to supplier creation and other things, but that very well can be changed in the later point of time, and that very well can be managed during the transaction as well. We will see, but right now we are going to do some default setups. So accounting future period, most of the organizations keep it one period as a future period because they don't want to open multiple periods. GL account. In the GL account, we are going with the C1, location, CHN, function, okay. Function, you may keep it as a purchasing, account level, accounts payable, 2210, intercompany, 00, future segment, 00. Okay, click OK. Liability gone. Then prepayment account. This is the supplier liability account. So whenever you will process the transactions with the supplier, supplier will already have this account as a assigned. You can later change it as per your wish, but by default, whatever we are doing here is the defaults. Prepayment, that means advance payment to the supplier. C1 is CHN, function, purchasing, account. Okay. Right now, what we'll do, we will use the same account for what we are using for the supplier. We do not have something for. Okay. Prepayment means when you pay advance to the supplier, that will go in the prepayment account. You can very well track in the same account and you can very well track in a different account. So I was checking if some different account is there or not, but it is all flexible. You are just providing here the default values, bills payable account. This will be the notes payable feature of our accounts payable process, which we will discuss later. We will come back over here. We will assign the, or we can assign over here now, because this will also going to reflect in the supplier master. Functions I am keeping as without purchase. Purchasing. Future dated payments 2580. This is the uh, feature which is available with this account. Future dated payments. Discount taken. If any discount we are taking for the supplier payments, come here, give the word discount, and you have discount taken. Okay. This all will be the uh, different features: PO rate, purchase order rate variance, gain loss, expenses clearing account, miscellaneous retainers will come over here, but we are not going to discuss this PO rate variance, because when you enable the costing and when you enable the costing and then the variances will come, and along with that you have the purchase order purchasing module as well. So we move from here. Now this is the GL account setup we have done with defaults. Next is the supplier and purchasing relationship. Shift to location. IT India Chennai. Bill to location. IT India Chennai. Inventory organization. communication. IT Corporation India Business School. Inventory all this there. Okay, IT India Ledger, IT Private Limited, IT, these all are good. Customer Supplier Association. This is not required. Okay, actually this inventory organization setup I mixed it. Okay, we'll define it quickly. IT Corporation, Private Limited calendar. This calendar is nothing but the working calendar. So we have here this many calendars defined. Check over here. Okay, calendar we define also. Corporation 4 week, 4 week, 5 week quarterly type. Okay, starting with 1st of Jan. Okay, what day pattern? Sequence 1 on time 09 9 to 6. And shift number 1. Shift start timing. Okay. 6. Okay. This is not required. And close this active corporation if changes. Let's see if it's that. IT Corporation Private Limited. Fine. Inventory information. IT Limited, calendar IT. Okay. Once you complete the calendar setup, you need to do the building of this calendar. Then only it will be available on the inventory organization setup. So it has submitted one request. We go request. Find. Calendar validation completed with the warning.